following paid program does not represent the views of North Shore 1049. Welcome to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial. This morning during the program, your host Marc Freedman may discuss specific financial planning and investment ideas. These discussions are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Financial planning and investment advice is offered through Freedman Financial, an SEC-registered investment advisor located in Peabody, Massachusetts. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, a member of FINRA and SIPC. Freedman Financial is a separate entity from LPL Financial. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Always consult a certified financial planner professional, qualified attorney, or tax advisor prior to investing to determine what is appropriate for you.
Listeners to this radio show should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the investment company carefully before investing. The prospectus contains this and other information about the mutual fund, variable annuity, and variable annuity subaccounts. To obtain a prospectus, you may contact Freedman Financial or your financial advisor. Prospectuses should be read carefully before making a potential investment.
And now, here's the host of Dollars and Cents, Marc Freedman of Freedman Financial.
Good morning. Welcome to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial on North Shore 1049. My name is Marc Freedman. I'm president and CEO of Freedman Financial, located in Peabody, Massachusetts, right across the street from the currently starting to open slowly North Shore Mall, and just above the soon-to-reopen Alto Forno restaurant in Peabody. We're on the second floor at 41 Cross Street in Peabody, and our offices have been closed for the past couple months. We are working diligently from home and serving our clients and reaching out to all of you, just like I am today from my home, broadcasting another episode of Dollars and Cents right here on North Shore 1049. We hope to be back in our offices soon. The days are cutting closer. I feel like we're going to be heading in there much sooner than we might have expected. Perhaps even July 1st might be the day when we start heading back. It really comes down to the point of we want to get back to the office when our clients feel comfortable visiting us in our office. We have, I think, like you, we've all grown so comfortable using the Zoom technology, the GoToMeetings, the WebEx forums, all these types of video conferencing services that are out there, that it's become almost natural, though sometimes long in the tooth, to hold these meetings. And we're finding it effective, but I do miss seeing people in person. I think we all miss kind of hanging out in person. I don't know about you. Did you happen to get out this week and enjoy some of the outdoor dining that's available? If you drive all throughout the North Shore and the Merrimack Valley, you're certainly going to find many restaurants that are popping tents up in their parking lots right near their restaurant, and hoping to provide you with some outdoor dining experiences. The weather has been delightful for this. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like in July and August. Hopefully we can start moving into a restaurant with some air conditioning, but right now the weather's been great. Very little rain. It's a bit of a challenge for some of our servers and those in the restaurant business, having to run a little bit further from the kitchen all the way out to where your tables are, but man, it's been kind of nice just to get out and have something to eat. I know I went this week. My business partner, Marion, and I happened to go to Daniela's in Danvers, one of my favorite places to go to. They had opened up the patio for lunch, and it was really, really nice to actually order a drink, order some food, and just enjoy ourselves for a little bit. And it was nice. So I look forward to seeing you out and about. I hope you're beginning to enjoy this nice weather as well. We are entering, I guess it's phase 2-ish of this re-entry back here into America, into the state of Massachusetts. And each state is handling this a little bit differently. As you can well see, the economy or the stock market seems to feel like better days are ahead, that's for sure. I mean, as the stock market has just really rocketed forward over the past couple of weeks, yeah, we've had a couple pullback days, but generally the consensus is we're going to get through this. And those of you that chose to get a little scared back in March or in April and said, I need to get out of this and get back in when things get better, we've told you for years that's never been the strategy. And once again, it's proven not to be the strategy. The whole idea here is when you're investing your money for the long term is not months, it's not weeks, it's not days, it's not even a year or two. Long term is 3 to 5 years or longer, knowing full well that there will be periods of time when markets go up and markets go down. But what's more important is understanding how your money relates to the rest of your overall financial life. because measuring what happens in your life is really what matters at this point. It's not about whether your 401k went up 10% or down 20%. It's not about whether you got a raise today or whether you were furloughed. It's not about whether you need to buy more insurance or carry a will. It's not one of those things. It's all of those things. And when we don't look at them in aggregate from a much bigger perspective, taking a step back and saying, what is it that we need to do to make sure that we, meaning me, my spouse, my partner, my family, my children, that we're on the right track for success both today and in the future. Sometimes it might mean making some sacrifices today for the future. But I'll tell you, one of the terms that has come more and more visible to me, and something that I had a difficult time wrapping my arms around for the longest time, is this term work-life balance. Now that I've been working at home, and many of us have been working at home, I think we're finding that working from home, we work more. We work more hours. We work at erratic times. Sometimes you might take a couple hours off in the afternoon, but you're working at night, or you're getting up early in the morning, or you're distracted because, the kids might need you, or it's back and forth and trying to find that balance. And realistically, is there such a thing as a weekend anymore when we're working from home? So how do we find that work-life balance that so many people were talking about, but I just didn't get it? And now I'm trying to understand, how is it that when we're working from home, I actually stop working and not only stop working in my office, but get my head out of thinking about work and re-engaging with the family, re-engaging with the kids, just being more sociable. We have to start doing that. Finding that balance is going to be interesting. I know that many businesses, as you've probably heard, have been talking about the idea of maybe not going back to the office at all, or perhaps doing it a little bit differently, where there's this idea of finding this work-life balance, working from home, finding some time off, maybe going to the office sometime, being a little bit flexible. It's actually working, and I'm actually surprised at how well it is working and how well we have adapted to it. Now, there are some folks that are in certain businesses whose line of work doesn't allow for working from home. It requires you to be at your shop, at a retail outlet, out in some type of construction job or whatever it might be. But there are so many people that commute into Boston working in these offices, and they're realizing, oh my goodness, I spend an hour and a half every day going back and forth to work, getting all dressed up so I can sit at a cubicle around my friends, when maybe I don't need to do that. And the business doesn't have to pay so much for rent in the building for me to continue to work from this place in Boston. I think we're going to see a lot of changes. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bad thing. One of the things that we've learned over the years when it comes to money and when it comes to economics is when challenges present themselves, there are people that will lose jobs, industries that might even shut down. But new industries emerge, new jobs emerge, greater efficiencies emerge, different ways of doing business, different ways of connecting to people emerge. And that's all good stuff. We have to be willing to adapt and willing to accept the fact that we need to do things differently. Look, I mean, how many people are walking around paying with cash these days? I can't remember the last time I went to an ATM machine. Every type of transaction that I do, well, right now, most of it's online anyways, and my credit card's already built into my Amazon account or wherever else I might want to buy stuff. But when I want to order food online to pick it up for takeout, or if I want to just go into Walgreens, I'm handing a credit card. The exchange of money just isn't happening anymore. And there is a segment of our population that needs to adapt to that, and that's the aging population. They're so used to carrying around a wad of cash or having a wallet full of cash or having that extra. I know my father always used to carry an extra $100 on him all the time. He used to either hide it in the car or keep it in his wallet or something like that. But do we need to do that anymore? I mean, look, I can pay with my phone. I don't even need a credit card anymore. All I got to do is tap my phone up against one of those little readers at Stop and Shop, and I can pay. But someone has to create that technology. Someone has to make sure that the technology is encrypted and keeps us safe. Somebody has to keep making that technology better and more user-friendly. Those are new jobs that are going to emerge. We have a lot of opportunity in front of us. And I think we're learning from this coronavirus that some of the stuff we knew we had to move towards, some of these technologies, some of this new way of living that we had to move forward and towards is now here. It came a little quicker than we might have imagined, but it's here. And are we ready to prepare? And what does that mean to us as we begin preparing for the rest of our lives? Will we continue to stay in the same jobs we're in right now? Will we have to adapt? Will our children be educated the same way? How will we finance and fund the costs of their education? What will it cost? What will it cost to retire? What types of new technologies will we need to purchase? What type of investment strategies will we need to consider? How will we protect our family if something happens to us? All of those questions and more, including taxes and payroll and so much more, are issues that all fall under the umbrella of what a certified financial planner does. And what I want to talk to you about today, I want to pull back the curtain a little bit and start to share with you once again what you should be expecting when you establish a relationship with a financial planner. Because I think more and more people are beginning to realize that maybe doing this on my own or on your own might not be the best strategy, because we can get very emotional during times when we need to be rational. And we can sometimes measure the relationships that we've had with our financial professionals. Maybe it's your banker, an insurance agent, an investment professional, or perhaps even your financial planner. How did they react during the emotional times of the past 12 weeks? Did they communicate with you? Were they staying rational with you? Were they giving you the guidance, or were they letting you call the shots? We've learned a lot over the past 12 weeks, and when I step back and I talk about this with my business partner, Marion Gilman, we realize that we've been through this type of a cycle at least 5 times since I started in the business in 1991. We've been through periods of time when someone said, oh, but this time it's different. This time it's different. I don't know how quick we're going to come back from this. And so people would talk about the idea of getting out and getting back in. And when I get out, I'll just wait to see when things get better. That's when we will get back to it. Well, we have always held a premise that we are going to be strategic financial planners, not tactical financial planners. We're not going to try to guess when the best time is to get in or to get out. We're not going to guess the best sectors that you should be buying. We're not going to try to guess on the next best product that is presenting itself today. We are going to try to leverage the experience that we have, leverage the 9/11s, leverage the financial crises, leverage the 20% drop that we saw in November and December of 2019, and so many other of those challenges that presented themselves to us, and where we needed to reach out and provide guidance to you. I want to provide that guidance to you today. I want to try to walk you through the process that we go through at Freedman Financial so that you can try to make an informed decision and say, maybe it's time for me to work with a certified financial planner. And if our firm is the one that you want to work with, we would love to talk with you. But I want to give you the tools so you can make smart decisions. It's important. You need to be ready for the financial challenges presenting themselves today and those that are presenting themselves in the future, because the rules will change, folks. Decisions that we make today are not set in stone. But we've got a lot to talk about. But I also have to take a quick break. And when we get back, I want to talk about what it means to place the interests of clients first, what it means to be a fiduciary, and why certified financial planners are probably best positioned to give you the advice that you need, especially in times like these. You're listening to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial on North Shore 1049.
I need a dollar, that's what I need. Hey, well, I need a dollar.
Hi, this is
Marc Freedman, president of Freedman Financial and host of Dollars and Cents, heard here every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. Each week, I try to provide listeners with financial advice in a language you can understand. And much of my advice comes from real-life situations that happens in my office, Freedman Financial, each and every day. You see, at Freedman Financial, we help individuals and families create smart strategies for spending money in retirement. Our approach is committed to placing your interests first. And best of all, Freedman Financial is independent, and we're a fee-based financial planning and investment management firm. We're absolutely committed to helping you get your financial house in order. When you're ready to get serious about your financial planning needs, give us a call at 978-531-8108. That's 978-531-8108, or on the web at freedmanfinancial.com. That's Freedman, 2 E's and a D, financial.com.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Freedman Financial, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
It's not about the money, money, money. We don't need your money, money, money.
Welcome back to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial on North Shore 1049. My name is Marc Freedman. I'm president and CEO of Freedman Financial, located in Peabody, Massachusetts, where we've been providing financial planning and investment management advice to individuals and families all throughout the North Shore, the Merrimack Valley, and the southern New Hampshire area since 1968. I started in this business in 1991. I joined my father's practice. He started Freedman Financial back in 1968. Dad has since retired. He retired in 2007. My business partner, who you've heard here on the radio, Marion Gilman, she joined me in July in 2000. So she's been with me almost 20 years now. And it's worked out really well. We continue to build relationships with so many generations of families all throughout the North Shore and Merrimack Valley area. Our business is located at 41 Cross Street, right across the street from the North Shore Mall and just above Alto Forno. We haven't been in the office the past couple months like most people. We've been working from home, and because we planned appropriately, we planned about 2.5 years ago when we moved into our new office to prepare for the worst. We said, let's prepare for the potential that our building that we move into catches fire. And we have to go racing out of our building and preserving all of our clients' financial information to make sure that it stays safe and protected, and be sure that we can continue to communicate effectively with all of our clients. And so we did that. We built a digital system where on I think it was like the 16th or 17th of March, we raced out of the office. Well, not really raced. We decided to close the office that day. We sent everybody home with their computers and their digital phones. And so when you call Freedman Financial right now at our 978-531-8108 phone number, Jody, our Director of First Impressions, will answer the phone at her home, though it sounds like she's answering the phone in our office. And if you're looking for me and you say, hey, could I talk to Mark? Jody will say, hold on, let me check if he's available. She'll put you on hold. Jody will ring up my phone here at the office. And if I'm available, she will patch me through to you, and I will talk to you through my home. But as you well know, we've seen many people working from home. We have the Zoom technology figured out. So clients that have, it's really surprised us actually. We've seen a bunch of new people reaching out to us and saying, I think it's time now to get serious about my financial planning. I've had relationships with a variety of different investment professionals, insurance people, and I want to try to have a conversation with someone that asks questions about everything in my financial life, not just one or two pieces of information. Because that's what we do. That's what we've been doing since 1968. And frankly, I think it's the reason that we've been able to maintain 4 and 5 generations of clients and have maintained a 99% retention rate. Because we follow a principle that's called placing the interests of our clients first. And that's the role of a fiduciary. So I thought I'd spend a little bit of time this morning talking to you about what it means to be a fiduciary. So ask yourself this. When you're thinking about someone placing your interests first, what should they know about you before they can give you any type of advice? Well, to me, It would seem, especially when it comes to financial planning related issues, that a financial advisor should know about all of the aspects regarding your financial life rather than just a piece or two of it before they ever offer you advice. You see, as fiduciaries, placing your interests first is the cornerstone to our relationship at Freedman Financial, and we've done it this way for 50 years. From our very first conversation, you'll find us asking about everything in your financial life, not just the money you may want to invest. That's because achieving your financial goals requires an open and honest dialogue that incorporates more than just the numbers. It includes the emotions attached to them too. And that's what I want to talk about. When someone says, well, tell me about your financial situation, someone might say, well, I've got this $500,000 or $300,000 in a 401k that I need to roll over. And I need to earn a better rate of return on my money. Well, that's just a piece. That's nice to know. It's important to have. But let's make sure that we understand everything about your financial life. And usually when we do that, it starts with understanding your goals, not necessarily your money. I need to know what your goals are before we even recognize whether the money that you have or the dollars you've accumulated or hope to accumulate are sufficient to help achieve those goals. So let's first start talking about that. So what are your goals? Someone says, well, I hope to retire at age 65, or I hope to retire at age 68. Well, okay, that's good. But what does retirement look like? Ask yourself that. What does retirement look like? I want you to imagine life in retirement. What does it look like? Does it look different 5 years from when you retire? Does it look different 10 years from when you retire? What might you be doing different in retirement that you wouldn't be doing while you're working? Yeah, maybe you might not have that long commute in and out of work, but maybe you'll be spending more time, buying groceries. Whatever it might be, let's start imagining what retirement would look like. Sure, everyone says to me, Mark, when I retire, I want to travel more. All right, well, what does travel look like? You can travel a lot of different ways. You can travel doing Airbnbs. You can travel by camping through the national parks, or you could travel first class and stay at the Ritz-Carlton all around the world. What does travel mean? And when I ask you, how much do you think travel might cost on an annual basis? Maybe you haven't really thought to quantify that yet. But maybe you might not know how much money you could actually allocate to travel. And maybe if you knew that number, you might think of travel a little bit differently. And so understanding the goals of where you are. I want to retire. I want to educate my children. I want to be sure that I leave X number of dollars to my children. I'm expecting an inheritance. And when I get that inheritance, I want to do X, Y, or Z with it. I want to buy a fancy car when I turn 50. What do all those goals look like? I want to pay for the wedding for my daughter. I want to put my kids through school and let them go to a private university and pay $70,000 a year. Or I want to give my kids $10,000 to $15,000 a year for college, and then the rest of it's on them. What do all of those things look like? Understanding your goals are very, very important to help us begin to build the proper financial plan. Now, many people will say to me, Mark, I really haven't given much thought to the depths of the goals. I know I want to retire. I know I want to help my kids out with college. I know I want to travel a little bit more when I retire, but I just don't know much more than that. I haven't thought that much through. That's okay. That shouldn't prevent you from getting started with a financial planner. Just knowing what some of those big picture things are. We can dig further into it when we have then a bigger picture of what the numbers all look like. So that's when we start to explore and examine what you own and what you owe. That includes doing an assessment of your bank accounts, insurance policies, retirement accounts, work plans, money and investment accounts. Maybe you have mortgages, credit card debt, a personal loan. You own a home. You got a home equity loan. Maybe you own a car. You have some jewelry. You're expecting an inheritance. You've got accounts for the kids. You've got little separate accounts that are stashed away. This one goes for my PIN money. And this one is a special account for my MAD money. And this one goes to that as an account because we have a second home up in New Hampshire. All of those types of accounts, we need to understand what all of that looks like. And through that conversation, we then say, okay, now that you have an understanding of what it is and you got somewhat of a picture, I want you to provide me the statements. I want you to show me the documentation that supports all of this. Because before I can operate as a fiduciary, before I can place your interests first, I have to provide my advice based on what I know is factual, not simply what you tell me. You want me to give you good advice. You want a fiduciary to give you the right advice and to place your interest first. And the way they do that is by understanding where everything is and what everything is worth. That's critical. The other thing we need to know is how much money comes into the house and how much money goes out of the house. Maybe you make $100,000. But how much of that $100,000 salary actually lands in your bank account as the net deposited check? Because maybe you're putting money into your 401k. Maybe you're paying federal taxes, state taxes, FICA. Maybe you're paying for a little bit of life insurance or health insurance. Or maybe you're giving money to UNICEF for all I know. What's the net amount of money that comes into the household? Once we understand what the net amount is that comes in, then we can determine, is that enough money to cover all of your expenses that go out? No, I'm not going to ask you to try to define how much money you spend at Stop and Shop or how much you spend on gas or how much you pay to get your nails done or pay for golf each week. That's not important. But if we can get an aggregate sense of what goes out of the household each month, we can then offset that with what the net amount of money is that comes in every month. Now, how do we understand what goes out every month? Well, chances are your paycheck or the money that you earn goes into a bank account, usually one or two. And it's that bank account that is used to pay out all of your expenses. So we'll ask for a copy of your bank statements. We'll ask actually for 6 months copies of your bank statements so we can assess what is it on average that you're spending every month. When we know what you're spending every month on average and we know what's coming into the household every month, we can then do an assessment to say, is there enough money coming in to cover the expenses? Are they building debt? Are they dipping into their investment accounts or their emergency fund? What is it that they're doing? So that's called a cash flow analysis, understanding what's going in versus what's going out. When you work with a certified financial planner, all of this service is included in the relationship. This is what you're paying for. This is what you need to know, because if we don't know what's coming in and what's going out and then what's left over to save, how can we build any type of a future plan? How can we give you any type of a roadmap for you to understand what the future of your financial life will look like? There's a lot of other factors. We haven't talked about what investments you should buy, what kind of rates of return, what tax brackets you're in, or anything like that. We're just talking about what comes in, less what goes out. Understanding where everything is and what everything is worth, and knowing what all of the money is that's coming in and what's going out are the two critical parts to getting the database set on everything else in your life. Then we start to dig a little deeper. Then we start to look at everything else in your portfolio, from your investment accounts to your insurance policy, annuities that you might own, and so many other things. But we're going to take a look at that when we get back. You're listening to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial on North Shore 1049.
Go on, take the money and run. Go on, take the money and run.
Hi, this is Marc Freedman of Freedman Financial. For more than 50 years, we've been providing individuals and families on the North Shore and Merrimack Valley with financial advice in a language you can understand. As each of us struggle to find answers in this uncertain environment, we're continuing to communicate with our clients in a variety of ways. Our weekly newsletter, our video town hall, our client teleconferences, and periodic phone calls continue to offer ways to address clients' questions despite remaining physically distant. If you're feeling alone and searching for rational advice during these emotional times? Perhaps Freedman Financial can provide the comfort that you need. Give us a call at 978-531-8108. That's 978-531-8108. Or visit us at freedmanfinancial.com. That's Freedman, 2 E's and a D, financial.com. Freedman Financial, financial advice in a language you can understand.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Freedman Financial, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Money, 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 money.
Welcome back to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial on North Shore 1049. My name is Marc Freedman. I'm president and CEO of Freedman Financial, located in Peabody, Massachusetts. And I'm here delivering this message to you by the radio show right from my home again this week. We are here, I think this starts week 11 perhaps for all of us. It's been middle of March since we left our offices and we sent everybody back to their homes so that we could continue to serve our clients well from our homes and to stay safe during this pandemic. It's been a bit of a challenge, but we're managing actually better than we thought. And actually, it's now starting to get a little comfortable. I'd actually like to get back to the office. I know my staff would like to get back there too, but we want to do it when it's safe. And we want to make sure that we are structuring our office so that it is safe for you when you come to visit with us. Many of our clients have asked, hey, can we still hold review meetings? And of course we can. We do those through Zoom technology. We do it through phone calls, of course. That's easy. But the Zoom technology, I think, works pretty well. And if you've been thinking about reaching out to Freedman Financial and saying, hey, this might be interesting for me. It's time for me to get serious about my financial life, about talking to somebody who can give us a perspective of everything in my financial life, and I can put it all together. I can begin to crystallize it all and then begin to structure a plan, a strategy, something to give me a roadmap so I feel like we're heading in the right direction. If that time is right for you, I'd encourage you to give us a call. I mean, we are answering our phones at 978-531-8108. That's 978-531-8108. If you'd like to schedule some time to meet with us, we can schedule it through Zoom. If you want to just have a brief phone call with me, I'm happy to talk to you. I'd also, though, point you to our website, freedmanfinancial.com. That's Freedman, 2 E's and a D, financial.com. You can go to the tab on our website that talks about getting to know Freedman Financial. In fact, there's a tab up top that says New Client Information. I'd encourage you to take a look at that tab. You will then get to follow the process that I'm explaining to you today on this radio show of what you would go through if you were working with us as a financial planning client. I don't want it to be a mystery to you. We try to be as transparent and as open and as honest as we can so that you can understand fully what a relationship with Freedman Financial looks like. I'll tell you, we've got clients that go back to 1968 with us. Yeah, they've been with us that long time. And then there are others that have started within the past year or two. We're delighted. Most of the clients that work with us are referrals from existing clients or this radio show. This radio show has been a great venue for us to meet so many new people. So I'd encourage you to take a look at our website. Go to the tab that says New Client Information. Click on the button that says Get to Know Freedman Financial. You can look at the button that says What to Expect from Freedman Financial. That shows you the array of services that we can offer to you. We can include our Fact Finder. This is an information kit that we send out to you that helps you begin to organize all of the stuff that you have. Because as you may recall in the previous segment, I talked about the importance of being a fiduciary and placing your interests first. Well, in order to do that, we need to know where everything is and what everything is worth. And using our fact finder that we provide to you, you can begin to organize your stuff. It may be the hardest part of the entire relationship. Finding all of that stuff isn't easy. When I start saying, well, tell me about your homeowner's policy, your automobile insurance policy. What about life insurance that you own? Do you have health insurance at work? Do you have a 401k plan, a 403b? Do you have information regarding a pension that you might be entitled to? Do you have a trust? Is money held in a bank or several bank accounts? Do you have the documentation that proves it all? Can you gather it all together? Do you know who the beneficiaries are on your retirement accounts, on your IRAs, on an annuity you might have? What about a life insurance policy or even a bank account? What happens if you die? Do you know? Well, we can't give you the honest information of what happens until you've provided us all of the documentation to support it. It'll take a little while. I've found so many people that have buried savings bonds in their underwear drawers, or they've had stock certificates that are held in safe deposit boxes, or they remember that they have a sock that holds a bunch of silver or gold coins. There's stuff everywhere. And the more stuff we gather, the more scattered it becomes. God forbid something were to happen to you and someone had to gather it and put it all together. Does someone know where everything is and what it's all worth? Does someone know who to reach out to if something were to happen to you? Part of the financial organization process is giving you peace of mind. That's what it really comes down to at the end of the day, is knowing that you can live the rest of your life comfortably knowing that somebody else has your back. Somebody else is a resource for you to turn to when you have questions about anything related to major money decisions. Let's say you want to buy a car. Let's say you want to buy a house. Let's say you're thinking about selling your home and moving to, say, Brooksby Village. Or you want to have a place up in New Hampshire. Or perhaps someone left you a place in New Hampshire with you and your siblings, and you're trying to figure out a way to unwind out of it. Maybe you want to change your residence from Massachusetts to Florida. Maybe you're thinking about trying to help your kids purchase a new home. Or perhaps you need to help financially support your parents. All of those are major financial decisions. Notice none of those things that I just talked about address the issue of large cap growth or the S&P 500 or mutual funds or stocks or any of that stuff. Folks, you need to understand that the investment component of a financial planning relationship is extraordinarily important, but it's only a slice in the overall pie that I call financial planning. I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine that you are baking a pie. And when you bake a pie, the first thing you have to do is you have to bake the crust. The crust is the most important part because it holds the pie together. It's the base for every slice that comes out of that pie plate. So would you like the base of your pie to be something that is called investments? Or would you like it to be called financial planning? Think about that for a minute. If every slice that came out of your pie had a bottom piece that was called investments, that to me would sound like someone wanted to sell you something because every slice was something that somebody sold to you. As opposed to a pie that has a base of financial planning, understanding your big picture first, understanding the whole puzzle of who you are. And then each slice in the pie represents tax implications, maybe an investment strategy. It represents estate planning, the way you spend your money. But each one of it is part of that same base of a financial plan. That is what's called a smart strategy. That's placing your interest first. That's being a fiduciary. That's understanding where everything is and what everything is worth so that when you need to make a major financial decision. No, I'm not talking about trying to decide whether to buy rice-a-roni or Near East rice pilaf. I'm talking about how much money can you afford to put out for your children to pay for college? How much money can you afford to spend to support your life in retirement? How much tax should you have withheld from your pay each pay period so that you're not finding yourself owing a lot of money at the end of the year? All of those are part of the filling within the pie, but the base of the pie is financial planning because we knew everything about you first. That's what we do at Freedman Financial. That's what a certified financial planner does and is obligated to do through a code of ethics, understanding the big picture of you. Once we get to that sense of understanding where everything is, then we can begin to dive in a little bit and look at your investments. We'll look at your 401k and we'll say, is the allocation within your 401k appropriate for your overall financial goals and objectives? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Have you rebalanced your portfolio lately? Are you placing too much risk in your 401k plan as you get closer and closer to that retirement date? We'll also look at the investments that you own outside of your retirement plan. Perhaps you have a personal investment account. Perhaps you have an IRA rollover, a 403b, a 529 plan, a variable annuity, any of these things, each which carry their own sets of risks and rewards and costs and everything. We want to dig in so that you understand what you're paying for all of these services and these products, what the results have been, what the risks are that you're exposed to, and how that all ties into the big picture. Some people will say, well, I'm 70% in the stock market, 30% in the bond market, for instance. Well, generally when someone makes that statement, I'm 70-30, I'm 50-50, I'm 60-40, they're talking about an investment account, their 401k, their IRA, their joint investment account. That's important to know. But what does your overall asset allocation look like? When we incorporate the money you have in the bank, the money that you have in all of your IRA accounts, in all of your joint accounts, both yours and your spouse's, what does that look like from an asset allocation standpoint? What if we actually layer in the value of your house too? Now you have an asset class called real estate. What does that overall asset allocation look like? Is that what you want it to look like in the future? How do we shift to what it should be as you begin moving forward? Now, some will argue, should real estate be included in an asset allocation model? And I think you could argue both sides of it. I believe that real estate that you're going to use and live in for the rest of your life probably isn't a good piece to include in asset allocation. However, if you have rental real estate, if you have investment property, if you have a home that sits up in New Hampshire that you use as a summer place, but perhaps you might be selling it down the road or planning to transfer it to somebody, maybe we have to look at all of those pieces. You see, as a financial planner, we're going to charge a fee to get all of that stuff laid out, understand where you stand financially, give you a snapshot of what this all looks like, and then give you answer to the question, can I achieve the goals that I set out for, that I discussed with you earlier on in the conversation? Are we on track to do it? That's what you'll pay for. Getting it all together, a snapshot of where you are, and then a roadmap that says, if we do nothing else, if we do exactly what we're doing right now, can we achieve our goals? And that's what I'm going to show you through a financial plan. But what I'm also going to show you is a few other what ifs. Here are some things for you to consider to improve the likelihood of you being able to achieve this. Or here are some situations that present themselves that say, if you keep walking in this path, you may be setting yourself up for disaster. You need to know, I don't want you to walk out of our office knowing that there's still an elephant in the room that we have not addressed. It's important that we do it. It's important we do it right. And we want to show you how. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I want to talk to you about what the review meeting looks like at Freedman Financial. Once you've become a client, once you know that you've been working with us for a few months, 6 months down the road, 12 months, what will we talk about in the client review meeting? That and more. You're listening to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial on North Shore 1049.
Make the money, don't let the money make you. Change the game, don't let the game change you. I'll forever remain faithful. All my people stay true.
What if you could blend the classic strategies of investing with a contemporary approach to financial planning? That's what Freedman Financial can do for you. Wherever you are along your financial journey, Freedman Financial has the skills, technology, and experience to help you make smart financial decisions. Their team of certified financial planners will deliver an independent, objective, personalized plan for you. Freedman Financial, financial advice in a language you can understand.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Freedman Financial, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Welcome back to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial on North Shore 1049. My name is Marc Freedman. I'm president and CEO of Freedman Financial, located in Peabody, Massachusetts, where we've been providing financial planning and investment management advice to individuals and families living on the North Shore, the Merrimack Valley, and the southern New Hampshire area since 1968. Thank you for joining me once again this Sunday. We are here each and every Sunday, like I said, from 8 to 9 a.m., and it's another great weekend we've had. How about that outdoor dining? I hope you've had an opportunity to jump out and start participating and re-engaging in a more traditional and more familiar manner. It's a little bit different, of course, how we have to structure our eating out arrangements and how we're having to manage through this pandemic. But it's nice to see some of the restaurants opening their doors, being creative, setting up their tents. I hope you're being patient with the servers. And frankly, I hope you're tipping them well because they're working on a limited number of tables. It's certainly not nearly as lucrative for them to be working in the restaurant business as it was some 4 or 5 months ago, that's for sure. But I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you're enjoying this nice weather. I mean, geez, we've been very fortunate that the weather has held up so that we can handle the outdoor dining in a manner that we can. I don't know what it's going to be like in July and August when things get a little bit warmer, but hopefully we will begin to move into phase 3 and perhaps even into phase 4 and re-engage in air-conditioned settings in restaurants and do so much more. But thank you all for being patient, and thank you for joining me this Sunday on North Shore 1049. When I last left you, I promised that I would share our review process. This is the type of conversation that we have with our clients after they've been with us for 6 months, a year, and all the years thereafter. You know, periodically we need to get together and review your financial plan, review the process that we established early on to see if there are any changes that are necessary, to see how you're progressing along the way, and of course to answer any questions that you might have and learn about any changes that have gone on in your life. Our financial planning review process is something that people actually look forward to, and I look forward to it quite a bit as well. One of the things that we do is in advance of a review meeting, usually a week or two in advance, we will send out a copy of your net worth statement. And you're thinking, well, wait a second, where do you get the net worth statement from? Well, when we started, you may recall from the segments beforehand, we build a net worth statement for you. We want to know where everything is and what everything is worth. And we've been trying to maintain that all along the way. And if you have investment accounts at our office, those dollar values are updating on a daily basis. But perhaps things have changed with your bank accounts. Perhaps amounts have changed at your 401k plan. Perhaps you've changed jobs. Perhaps you refinanced your home, or you took out a new loan for a purchase of a car. So what ends up happening is we send this net worth statement in advance to you and give you the opportunity to take a look at the numbers. And then you let us know what's changed. And so when we get together, you're bringing that net worth statement with you. We're updating it on the fly in our office using our financial planning software so you can see how your overall net worth has changed. You see, one of the things that's very revealing to folks in a review meeting is not necessarily to see how much your investment account might have gone up or down, but your net worth is far larger than just your investment account. Your net worth includes the amount of money you have in the bank, the value of your house, your 401k plan that you might have at work, the cash value of life insurance, the mortgage or the loans that you might have. And so by updating those numbers during our review process, you can actually see the growth and the trajectory of your net worth over the years that you've been with us. I always find it interesting around the 5-year anniversary, the 10-year anniversary, and sometimes even the 20-year anniversary with our clients. We'll pull out the original net worth statement and we'll show them how far they've come. Because it's so easy to forget about what was important to us, sometimes what was important to us yesterday, let alone what was important to us a year ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. I mean, think about when you first started you got your first job and you thought to yourself, geez, I hope I make X number of dollars. And if then I could make Y number of dollars, then I'd be killing it. And now today, you're making multiple times what you thought was that amount of money that you thought you'd need to make in order to be successful. And now the amount of money that you're making today, you might be thinking, well, maybe that's not enough still. Because our lifestyle has changed, our spending habits have changed. So we want to talk about your progress during your review meeting. We want to see how things have changed. Now, we're also going to look at your investment accounts. We're going to make sure that the investments that you have both with us and at work or in other places, that they're still aligned properly, that they're performing as expected as they relate to the overall asset allocation, as they relate to the overall structure of our goals. And if necessary, during these meetings, we'll offer up some rebalance changes, or perhaps we'll make some overall changes. What will be some of those reasons that we make changes? Well, number one is, what if a portfolio manager of a mutual fund has retired or quit? We may not want you in that mutual fund any longer. And so we may offer up the idea for a change. Now, chances are, if a manager quits, we don't wait until the review meeting to make that change. We'll communicate with you ahead of time and say, hey, this is important to you. But maybe it's an opportunity for us to rebalance. Maybe you wanted to have a portfolio that was 60% in the stock market and 40% in the bond market. And now, with all that's gone on in the world, maybe now you're 70% in the stock market and 30% in the bond market. And you might be all excited. You say, oh, my account's done very well. Look how much it's grown. Well, that's all good, but wouldn't it make sense for us to try to retain some of that growth rather than put more growth than is necessary to risk as it relates to your overall financial plan? Sometimes it makes sense to rebalance. So what was originally a 60-40 portfolio that has now gone to a 70-30 portfolio, maybe we shave 10% off of the stock side and bring it down to 60% and add it to the bond side so that it moves up to 40%. So you go back to 60-40. We have to find those numbers that are comfortable. We want to be sure that that's working effectively so that you are in line and not taking unnecessary risk. You know, in earlier shows, I've talked about the fact that on March 23rd, when the market hit its bottom, if you will, during the coronavirus, the S&P 500 was down close to 35%. But a 60-40 portfolio might have been down only 25%. Now, that's a significant number, don't get me wrong. But one of the reasons that we put money in both stocks and bonds, and we use asset allocation as our core rationale for building a portfolio, is so that you're not exposed to the extreme risks on the downside, but nor do you get the benefit of the extreme risks on the upside either. We want to keep you tempered within your lanes so that you can achieve those long-term goals down the road. Another thing that we examine during your review process is to take a look at your bank accounts and revisit what's in the bank, because that's pretty telling. Let's say you had $30,000 in the bank a year ago. And today you come to visit with us and we find out that you only have $10,000 in the bank. Now, you may not remember that a year ago you had $30,000 there. And now that I see that it's $10,000, I might ask you, where did the $20,000 go? And you might think to yourself, I don't know. But maybe it was a little bit of a shaving off of that bank account every month. Maybe you were taking $1,500, an extra $1,800 a month just to cover expenses. Maybe you're spending more than you thought you were spending. Well, that's a telltale sign for us to re-examine the financial plan. Let's make sure that we're putting things in the proper place, in the proper order, so that we're giving you a proper projection. Because it would be really lousy if I gave you a financial plan that suggests you'll have all this money and all this ability to achieve your spending needs in the future in retirement, but it's based on the wrong spending factors today. We need to make sure that we're still in line. That's why we host the review meetings. Another thing we'll look at during a review meeting is I'll ask you to bring in your tax return. Because your tax return gives us a lot of hints as to what's been going on in your life. It helps us understand whether you might need to make a change to your tax withholding. It might help us to understand where best to take money if you need additional funds in the future that don't impact your tax liability that much. It can tell us a lot. Knowing how to read a tax return is absolutely critical. Not just reading it, but analyzing that tax return. Exposing yourself to say, well, what if I had put money into an IRA? Or would it have made more sense to do a Roth conversion or put money into a Roth IRA? Or maybe I could have better used my charitable contributions, not just in this year and spread it out over 5 years, but maybe if I put all of my charitable contributions that I wanted to make over the next 5 years into 1 year and get a bigger deduction for it, maybe that would have made sense. There's all sorts of possibilities to consider. And when we look at your tax return, we can see, did you follow some of the advice we gave you, or were there opportunities that might have been missed that we can learn from for the following year? Another thing that comes up in a review meeting is the discussion of major purchases. Usually once a year, you're thinking about maybe we want to buy another car, or maybe we need to do a remodeling to the kitchen or to the bathroom, or maybe the kids need some extra money, or maybe you're going to get an inheritance, or maybe you're thinking about moving to Florida. And these are opportunities for us to explore. Does it make sense to pull money from accounts? Should we be leveraging maybe the equity in your home? Should we be refinancing? All different types of possibilities to consider. As you can see during the review process, we talk about a lot in your financial life, not just your investment account. Yeah, we will talk about that. That's for sure. We want to be sure that you're seeing your trajectory and how you're doing in your portfolio, but we've got to make it, we've got to talk about everything in your life, not just the investment part. That's what we do at Freedman Financial that makes us special, I think. If you'd like to work with us, if you'd like to consider a relationship with our firm, give me a call, 978-531-8108. That's 978-531-8108. Or learn more about us at freedmanfinancial.com. That's Freedman, 2 E's and a D, financial.com. And if you like what you hear here each Sunday, we do this from 8 to 9 every Sunday morning. I want you to know that we put out a free weekly newsletter. It's called Planning Pointers. It lands in your inbox every Friday at 10:30. If you would like to be a subscriber to it, it's free, and you'll join the 7,000 other subscribers that we have that get this newsletter every single week. And we've been sending it since March of 2009. It was launched based on the lessons that we learned back in March of 2009 when we had the financial crisis. And many of the lessons that we've learned are still part of the lessons that we use as our core principles at Freedman Financial, and it's helped us weather the storm through this coronavirus and will help us weather the storms through whatever other challenges present to us in the future. Go to our website, freedmanfinancial.com, to get our free newsletter. Go to the bottom of any page, put in your name, your email address, and if you want to leave us a comment, if you want to ask me a question, you want to schedule some time to get together, happy to do all of that stuff. But I promise you this, I won't call you, I won't bug you unless you want me to reach out to you. That's our promise to you at Freedman Financial. And that's going to do it for us today. I want to wish you a very happy week. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will be back next Sunday with more financial advice in a language you can understand. You're listening to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial on North Shore 1049.
Thanks for tuning into Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial. During the show, specific investments may have been discussed. These discussions are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Please consult a certified financial planner, tax professional, or attorney to determine what is appropriate for you. Consider your investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of an investment company before investing. That's because investing involves risk, including a loss of principal. A prospectus contains this and other information about mutual funds, variable annuities, and variable annuity sub-accounts. Prospectuses should be read carefully before making an investment. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA and SIPC. Investment and financial planning advice is offered through Marc's firm, Freedman Financial, which is a registered investment advisor and a separate entity from LPL. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next Sunday at 8 a.m.
The prior show was a paid program that does not express the views, opinions, or beliefs of North Shore 104.9, the station management, its employees, or staff.